Dave Shondell on the right, his 20th season at Purdue. In fact, the 20th season for his coaching staff in charge of the Boilermakers program. And Danny Busboom Kelly on the right of your screen, the reigning National Coach of the Year in her 6th season at the helm for the Cardinals. Another sold-out crowd once again tonight. And just about every seat filled for the first serve of tonight's match. It'll be Allie Horner, a sophomore local product from Southern Indiana, Providence High School, to get us underway. Aiden Bartlett with the first touch for Louisville. And then Aiko Jones, the first hit for Louisville, to score tonight's first point.
Aiko is one of the players that did not have a great game against Ohio State, so I love that they went to her on the first set to get her in rhythm right away. That's going to be a big point in this match.
Jones, the redshirt senior from Jamaica, her 65th point of the season. Elena Scott gets us started for Louisville. Scott the touch there. And then Anna DeBeer tips it. Lotherow keeps it alive, and the tip will give the point to Louisville on the strike from Jones.
Aiko's batting 1,000.
Yeah, not the best game for her against Ohio State, you mentioned it. But certainly happy for her to see them going to her in the early going of this match. What do you make of that?
I said it in the opening. The number one thing you want to do when you have a bad game and you're a good player is you want to get back on the court and do it again.
A good round of applause for Bartlett on the dig, and then Jones once again. 3 for 3 for Aiko Jones in terms of point scoring tonight, and Louisville out to a quick start.
Credit to Lotherow here, too. I'm sure some of this came from the coaching staff, but what a smart setter to make sure that your big hitter is in this match right away.
Scott to serve once again for the Cardinals. The hit for Purdue came from Maddie Chin. And that time for the Boilermakers, Hannah Clayton, the grad student transfer from Iowa, to get the Boilermakers on the board.
Middle is the strength from Purdue. You saw Clayton swinging on this ball and being able to finish with a single block out of the middle. She hits fairly low and quick.
Jones again for Louisville. Kept alive by Skimmerhorn. Bartlett the dig, but it was just too hot for her to control it. And it's a second straight point for Purdue. A great start to this match. Back-to-back runs for either team. Had a look there at Eva Hudson, number 17 for Purdue. The freshman, and to say she's been a freshman sensation may be a little bit of an understatement, as she has the swing there and earns the point for her team as well.
I definitely think it's an understatement. Back-to-back Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors and even a Player of the Week honor in there on her first week. And that's a little bit unheard of for a freshman just plowing through the Big Ten right away on week 1.
Yeah, you touched on that week 1. Again, Freshman of the Week in the Big Ten and overall Player of the Week in the Big Ten. The first player in Purdue history to do that, and just the 11th player in Big Ten history to do that, and that was in her first week of her college career. A point here for Louisville, though. You get a look there at Aiko Jones. 3 kills already tonight for the Cardinals, and she has the serve there as we move on along in set number 1. A point to Purdue to pull even at 4. So after a 3-0 start for the Cardinals, this younger and less experienced team in Purdue not backing down to begin this match.
They're less experienced, but they also have actually played together. These are all kids, not all, but mostly kids that have been at Purdue and trained together for 1, 2, or 3 years, and now are just getting to gel on the court out in true competition and gameplay, but they've been together in practice for a few years.
Lotherow tips it over for Louisville. Raquel Lotherow, the transfer from USC out of Malaga in Spain, with the point to give Louisville the lead.
We talked to the Louisville coaching staff before the game, and one thing they said is that she's doing a great job playing defense, she's doing a great job setting, but they would like to see her score more.
Anna DeBeer. The hit was for Hudson for Purdue. And now Chauncey for Louisville. And the point for the Cardinals.
And when Lothero scores on that point before, that middle blocker has to hold for just one more second on this play and doesn't get all the way out to close with Chauncey, or she's late and ends up in the net, like what happened there.
Anna DeBeer, who entering action tonight, leads Louisville with 67 kills. And she gets the ace there. Anna DeBeer, her 11th ace of this early 2022 season.
One of the things I love about DeBeer is she steps up in different ways each game. She'll be a really good defender one game. She'll be the person getting 3.3 kills in most sets. As you see, that's her average. And she'll step up and get an ace when you need it.
Hudson, but blocked. A combination of Amaya Tillman and Raquel Lothero denying the superstar freshman for Purdue. And it's a 4-0 run to Louisville. And it was just Lothero, in fact, with the block there of Hudson.
Hudson's favorite shot is line, so keeping those outside blockers true is going to be a big point for Louisville.
Chauncey with the swing for Louisville and the point for Louisville. The run continues up to 5-0 for the Cardinals.
Again, Purdue in the net, just a little bit off balance, off system in the front row at the moment.
Well struck from Raven Colvin, the sophomore from Indianapolis, to stop the bleeding for Purdue. Colvin, a 2021 member of the Big Ten All-Freshman team, one of the returning players with some experience, though she is a young player. And Eva Hudson has the service after that point. Chauncey, Skimmerhorn on the other end for Purdue, and then Tillman for Louisville.
We've seen slides on both sides now, and they're just tough to block. It's tough to get there. It's easier for the hitters to change their angle and work around that block. The block was a little bit late, and Tillman was able to tool off that outside hand.
Louisville, a team that has dropped just 4 sets all season, 3 of those in the loss to Ohio State last time out, as Purdue gets that point. But Louisville with a good start to this match. What have you liked so far? We thought maybe, given that Louisville was coming off of that loss, that they might have a hot start. They have to this point.
I like that they're doing the things, they're executing the game plan that the coaching staff was talking about before the game. They got Iko back in the game. Lothero's been aggressive. Their defense has picked up a little bit.
Colvin to serve for Louisville, but the point to the, beg your pardon, Colvin to serve for Purdue, but the point to Louisville here. Colvin has a seat. Iko Jones comes into the game for the Cardinals on the other side. And Lothero, Raquel Lothero will get us started with the service here. And it's a point for Louisville here.
Another Purdue net violation. They're just a little bit out of sorts at the moment. I think super smart of Shondell to call a timeout and just get everybody settled down. It's their first ranked opponent. They need to settle down and play their game that they...
Louisville hitting .583 in the early going here of set number 1 tonight. That's a big reason why they have Purdue doubled up on the scoreboard 12-6. Terrific block on a good hit there as the whistle does go. It was Emma Ellis who had the swing for Purdue. The point, though, goes to Louisville.
Louisville's done a great job shutting down the outsides from Purdue. I think Purdue has to go back to their strength and use the middle a little bit more.
Three errors so far for Purdue, none for Louisville. Ellis. A little confusion on the side of Purdue. They finally get it over. Scott Lothero and PK with a swing and a miss for the Cardinals. Pegron Kong, the junior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, playing in just her 7th set out of 21 played for Louisville this season.
Louisville's looking to match the offensive middles of Purdue, and so they're trying to get a little bit more offense out of their middle tonight as well.
Chaussee, and that is blocked by the Boilermakers. Megan Rinner in there combining with Hannah Clayton for the block.
Man, we've seen a little bit of sloppy volleyball, but we sure have seen some good blocking.
And that would be the MO for Louisville coming into this game. 4th nationally after games that were played last night. 4th nationally for Louisville in terms of blocks per set at just over 3. And Purdue last year with a terrific blocking team as well, though many of those players have left the program, but that's certainly still part of the DNA for Dave Shondell and his program. Aiden Bartlett to serve for Louisville here. Good dig by Scott, but it was just in between, and so the point goes to Purdue.
And that's a great dig, but Lothero's back row. If she was front row, she would have thrown that ball down for a kill, but being back row, she just needed it about a foot further off the net.
Allie Hornum from just across the river, her hometown of New Albany. Jones for Louisville. DeBeer for the Cardinals. Anna DeBeer with the kill. And Louisville's advantage is 6.
DeBeer's nice and patient on this ball, lets it get out in front of her so she can see the block, see what's open, and is able to take that line.
Setting it up for Hudson. And Hudson gets the kill for Purdue. Eva Hudson, again, the player who has burst onto the scene for the Boilermakers for her 4th kill tonight.
I love our Aiko Jones versus Eva Hudson matchup right here on the pin.
Jones on the other side. Hudson for Purdue. DeBeer now for Louisville. Second up for Hudson once again. Great play by Scott just to keep it alive, but once again off the net, and Louisville unable to control it to get it back over, and Hudson does it for Purdue here.
I think 4 out of the 5 swings in that rally were over here in our Jones versus Hudson battle. I love it.
Skimmerhorn, the service for Purdue. DeBeer, the swing for Louisville, blocked. Hudson once again. Scott to the floor. DeBeer. Chin with the swing for Purdue that time. Touched over by Aiko Jones. A good rally here. Hudson and Bartlett diving down for Louisville. Couldn't keep it in play.
That was a very smart ball by Purdue. You've seen Hudson run mostly higher balls, but in transition, they got this free ball and were able to run just a little bit faster, and she contacts this ball before it can get out to the block of Tillman and Jones.
And after trailing by 6, Purdue has now pulled it to within 3, and now pulled it to within 2. Back and forth first set to tonight's match. Certainly what you would have expected to see with 2 top 10 teams going at it. Though again, Louisville the more experienced of the 2, but Purdue has shown up well on the road tonight. Timeout on the floor for the Louisville Cardinals, as Purdue has made a run to get back into it in set number 1. The leader for Purdue in that huddle on the visitors' bench tonight. 6 kills for her, hitting .308. So far in tonight's match, she's the leader in terms of kills, and she's lived up to the hype. As we mentioned, several accolades coming into tonight's match for, again, the freshman out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Twice now the Big Ten Freshman of the Week.
Everyone knew that she was talented. I don't think anyone expected her to be quite this dominant, quite this early. I think a little credit, too, to the scheduling that Purdue did. They set her up for confidence right away, and I don't know that they did it intentionally, but I think they're very happy with how that worked out.
Well, let's give them the credit, you know? Let's say it was some intelligent scheduling to get their freshman star off on the right foot in her college career. The block for Purdue, but it's a point to Louisville, as it was De Beer that had the hit for the Cardinals.
I'm a little surprised out of that huddle that they didn't go to Iko Jones off that huddle for Louisville. So I wonder, I'm interested in what the strategy was there and what we'll see going forward.
Maybe a little counter move out of the timeout, you
yeah,
think?
They were thinking that was what was expected of them.
Tipped over by Chin. Tillman, the swing for Louisville was blocked. Over by De Beer. It's Chin once again for the Boilermakers, and this time she earns the points.
With the big blocks, we're going to start to see a lot more of the hitters hitting high and hitting high hands and getting those touches, and the defense just has to stay deep and stay true behind their block and be ready to chase down some of these balls.
Maddie Chin, a senior out of Michigan. One of the older heads on this Purdue team. Emily Brown serves for Purdue. De Beer, the swing for Louisville, and a swing with precision as well to earn the points.
She has such good vision. You rarely see her get blocked twice in a row. She got blocked before, and now she's seeing what's open and taking that line on a single block.
De Beer now atop the Louisville scoring chart with Iko Jones tonight, 3 kills apiece. Hudson, and Hudson's hit was blocked by this talented front line of Louisville. Amaya Tillman in there for the Cardinals.
Contrary to us just talking about De Beer's vision on the court, Hudson has no vision on that ball because it's coming high and from the back row, and she's just got to learn to hit that ball a little bit higher.
3 blocks already tonight for Louisville, and there's an ace for the Cardinals as well. Anna De Beer, her second ace tonight. And after the timeout, things swinging in favor of Louisville here. It's Hudson once again. Chaussee, Lotherow, and now De Beer. Once again for Purdue, Hudson. And this time Hudson off target, and Louisville inching closer to a controlling advantage of set number 1.
This is what we call outside hitters, the workhorse of, and I think really that's the 6-point difference in the set. You're right, it's not talent, it's not the big kills, it's not the big blocks. We've seen those from both sides, but Louisville's just a little bit, has a stronger ability to finish in those long rallies and know what options that they have.
The way this first set has gone, you can really see the tug of war between the two benches here, the way that they've traded timeouts. Neither side happy to see the other go in front or have a run. Chaussee for Louisville, and Chaussee the point for Louisville.
You saw Purdue come and go to their middle off of that timeout. I think that's their strength, but Louisville was able to come back and dig that ball to be an in-system dig and use Chaussee on the outside. We haven't said Chaussee's name much tonight, but that's one of my other favorite things about this Louisville team is you never know who's going to step up and when, and that makes it really hard to defend against them.
Louisville now on a 6-0 run as they have taken command of this first set. Now 3 points from clinching it. They've taken a couple of punches from Purdue, but they're closing out this first set, landing more of the punches themselves as Hudson is over but it's a point for the Boilermakers. And some studious fans taking in the action here at L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. Again, a sellout once again tonight. Tillman, and that's out.
She was just a little bit behind that ball. She wanted to hammer it line, but she didn't quite get her hand around it.
De Beer over. And Emma Ellis for the Boilermakers. And Purdue sees Louisville make a run. And once again, they make a run themselves to claw back into the set. Ellis blocked, but a point for Purdue.
That came down just in front of Amaya Tillman. Those are two big swings by Ellis. Purdue has got to find a way to have more than one hitter as an option during these transitions.
Emma Ellis, the senior from Charlotte, North Carolina. This is her 13th set of the season out of 23 that Purdue has played. And Louisville now has snapped that Purdue run with a point. They re-extend the lead in the set to 5. The hitting numbers have pulled back down for Louisville. They were well over 500 early in the set. It's now Purdue with the advantage in that statistical category, 281 to 251. You had a thought, Steph? I talked over you for a second. Go ahead.
No, that's a little bit surprising on the attack percentage, but I think a lot of Purdue's errors have not been attacking. They've been ball control errors or times when they haven't gotten the swing. When they've gotten the swing, such as that one, they've been very efficient.
Ellis with the point once again.
Coach Busboom Kelly is going to challenge this call. She took the card up to the official and said that ball was out.
Just over a kill per set on the season entering tonight for Emma Ellis. But as you said, Steph, it's going to be review here, our first challenge of the night. And you see there the ruling was that the ball was out and it was a point to Purdue.
Tough to tell there, but that's a high, fast swing by Ellis. Purdue's been using Ellis, Cook, and Chin on the outside, and I like their decision to go with Ellis right now. They need the size on that block, blocking Tillman's slide, and they need these big, high swings in transition.
This looks like it might be the best look, and this is what they are looking at here at the scorer's table. You see the gap of red paint there. Looks like it's going to be enough to keep the call as it was, but here's the official signal. And it's a point to Louisville, in fact.
I think credit to CC Rush, the defender there in one. Her foot was on the line, like how you teach them when they're young, and then the referee had a reference point to watch the replay.
So now set point for Louisville. They've been in command for most of this first set. Looking to cement that advantage. Chaussee, and Chaussee gets the point for Louisville. So coming off of their first home loss in 2 years, Louisville takes set number 1 in this top 10 showdown between the Cardinals and the Boilermakers. L&N Federal Credit Union for Louisville here after splitting their matches at home last weekend. Set 1 went to Louisville, but still a long way to go against a very talented Purdue team. Hudson, who had 7 kills in the first set with the first swing for Purdue and the second, and the first point for Purdue as well.
She's talented. She's hitting the ball hard. She's playing well. I think Purdue has got to find another option or two on offense if they're going to be able to beat this Louisville team. Yeah,
8 kills now for Eva Hudson, and 3 players with 2 tied for seconds on the scoring sheet tonight. Chaussee for Louisville, And Chaussee evens up the set.
The opposite for Louisville. Their attack has been so balanced between all of their pin hitters and finding a way to use their middles. I would love to see them get PK a little bit more involved in this set.
Claire Chaussee, the preseason All-ACC selection, who heads to the bench there, leading Louisville tonight now with 5 kills, hitting .571. Once again, it's Hudson. Bartlett on the other end for Louisville. PK for the Cardinals with the tip over. Now De Beer. Chin. And PK again, and that's in. Terrific placement.
That's what we were looking for. They went to her twice in that rally. One was an off-balance save by Lothero, and PK bailed her out. And then here's the finish by PK. That's the offense you're looking for.
Pegrin Kong, the junior from Sioux Falls in South Dakota, has earned her place in the rotation tonight for Danny Busboom Kelly and rewards her coach with that last point. Purdue, though, strikes back with Raven Colvin there.
Now we got a battle of the middles going. This is what I was looking for.
Emily Brown, the junior Missouri transfer, to serve for Purdue. This time Jones on the setup once again from Lothero.
Aiko joined the party by hitting middle out of that play. She said, if all the balls are going to the middle, that's where I want to be.
Jones with the hot start. The first 2 kills for Louisville. That's her second since that run for 4 total tonight. Tapped over there by Megan Renner. And the hit for De Beer, but that's out. Point to Purdue.
Great up there by Bartlett in transition. I think we're going to have a pause by Coach Busboom Kelly challenges if this is in or out.
Yeah, she was quickly off the bench, and we will, in fact, have another challenge for Louisville.
She was right on the last one, so she kind of has one to give now since you get to keep them this year.
Yeah, again, the rules now 2 challenges either way. But you lose the challenge if you challenge incorrectly. Our second one tonight. Again, 2 heavyweight programs this evening. You see the 2 head coaches there awaiting the result of this challenge. And so far we've had a heavyweight matchup. Runs either way. That is a very close call. And it will be a point to Louisville. The nod of affirmation. And Dave Shondell wants an explanation.
It's interesting how confident that the coaches are that it's in or out from both sides because it's on the far side away from the benches. But what that really shows me is a trust in what the information that they're getting from their players, and I love that.
So Louisville the point, but then the error for Scott gives one right back to the Boilermakers after the challenge.
The cliche comment there is that the ball never lies. So Coach Shondell thinks he's right now that replay was bogus.
Another point for Purdue. Every time until the end of that first set, seemingly, every time Louisville has had a little run, Purdue's been right there to answer. Just couldn't keep up the effort for the entire first set.
They had a slow start and a slow finish, but it was quite a battle in the middle.
Jones for Louisville. Hudson from the back row. Lothero keeps it alive. Scott from just in front of the stands, and Aiden Bartlett over. And Raven Colvin with the strike for Purdue.
Purdue needs more from their middles. They got a free ball, and they brought it right to their middle. This is exactly what they need to do.
Colvin's 4th kill, 2nd for Purdue tonight. Hitting .667 in her efforts. That sets up for Ellis from Colvin. And Emma Ellis continues to have a strong evening. Purdue now increases their advantage here in set number 2. And a look of concern from Danny Busboom Kelly.
Well, I think what she's feeling is that ball control is where the Cards struggled on Sunday against Ohio State, excuse me. And that's where they weren't able to be in system and take good swings because they weren't passing well.
A good rally here. Ellis for Purdue. The block for Louisville and the point for Louisville.
Coach Shondell wants a double contact on one of the Louisville digs, and that's a little bit of a touchy subject. You can't double on a first contact, but you also can't play the ball twice. So he's saying that when they were playing defense that she made 2 motions to the ball, but the reffing crew said that it was all in one contact.
Psycho Jones for Louisville. Ellis again. And Ellis the point as it had been turned back by Amaya Tillman.
Ellis is swinging for the fences on these outside ball. I'm not sure that she's seeing the block or making too many decisions, but she is swinging high and hard, and that's tough to block.
And Colvin the ace. 2 fingers to the sky in celebration for Raven Colvin. Her 10th ace of this, her sophomore season. But that time, inaccurate. And on the heels of the celebration for Colvin, she commits the error.
Ball control is a bit of a concern for the Cardinals right now. I think we need to see libero Elena Scott pick it up and have a great match.
Hudson is rejected. DeBeer on the dig on the hit from Clayton. And the point to Louisville.
They have a lot of people in serve receive. Chaussee is not playing all the way around today, and so there's more defensive specialists in the game for Louisville, and I think they're trying to increase their ball control, but they're still struggling just a little bit on serve receive. Things like serving can be considered ball control as well, and then defense.
DeBeer the error into the net there for the Cardinals. Megan Renner to serve for Purdue. Claire Chaussee for Louisville. Skimmerhorn, the dig, and then Clayton tips it over for Purdue to get the point.
You see the Cardinals adjusting their serve receive and trying to find some rhythm.
Hannah Clayton the point last time. The Iowa transfer, one of 3 transfers into this Purdue program this season. Chaussee the hit. Skimmerhorn over for Purdue. Now it sets up for Tillman, and Tillman earns the point.
A pass from Louisville enabled them to be able to run middle, run that slide, and that's exactly what they need.
Tillman with the hand as she heads to the bench. CeCe Rush, the junior from Southern Indiana, into the game for the Cardinals. Ellis the swing for the Boilermakers. Chaussee for Louisville. Chin rejected by PK. It's Chin once again. And Chaussee with the hit for the Cardinals.
Chaussee does such a good job of moving the ball around. You will rarely see her hit right into the meat of a big block. She's always high off the hands or on the outside of the outside blocker or the inside of the inside blocker. Or if she feels like she doesn't see anything, she'll roll shot over. And just to have all those different shots in your arsenal is deadly.
Clayton. Dug out by DeBeer. Ellis trying to keep it alive. Clayton over. Touched over by Lotheroe. Skimmerhorn for Purdue. Chaussee for Louisville. And Hudson rejected by Kong for the Cardinals for the point to pull it even at 10 apiece in set number 2.
Great patience here by PK on this block. This is a fast pipe ball to Hudson, and she's able to stay right with her and track that attack.
The 6'3" Kong. 8 blocks for her now on the season. Purdue, though, answers right back to regain the lead.
One thing, Hudson just came front row, but we've been talking a lot about the Louisville Cardinals ball control and struggling just a little bit. You see them adjusting serve receive again right now. But one thing Coach Shondell has got to be happy with is that Eva Hudson is passing so well in the background.
A powerful hit there for Louisville from Kong once again, overwhelming Purdue. But your thought on Hudson? She's been less active in terms of the scoring game. Just 8 kills for her on the night after having 7 in set number 1 for Eva Hudson for Purdue.
Sometimes it's not always about number of kills either. She's taking a lot of attention and she's doing a lot of dirty work. She's taking a lot of the off-system swings. She's servicing. She's taking those swings from the back row that we just saw. And those 2 swings here in this rally on balls that are out of system that set up your teammates to be able to finish, and those don't always show up on the stat sheet for outside hitters.
Maddie Chin, the block for the Boilermakers. And back and forth we continue on here in set number 2. And Hudson with the placement to score for the visitors.
She's learning from Chaussee. That's what you get when you have a freshman, right? They're just soaking everything up and finding different ways and new tools every time they touch the court.
Skimmerhorn to serve, and Skimmerhorn with the error to give the point to Louisville. Maddie Skimmerhorn, the senior, reigning Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, who was awarded that award once this season already. Bartlett to serve for Louisville. And Jones somehow does it. Ball control mistakes for Purdue, and Aiko Jones is the beneficiary for Louisville.
That's exactly where you want to take an out-of-system swing, is at the other team's setter, and she just caught Renner trying to release and run an offense on an easy ball and didn't quite play defense first and couldn't reach that.
Neither team has been able to take control of the set. And Hudson gets the point for Purdue as the blockers were over the net for Louisville.
It was off the block and into the antenna, which means that Hudson was trying to sneak it down that line but didn't have quite enough room, got the blocker first and then the antenna. Great dig.
Absolutely, from Emily Brown. And DeBeer, the point for Louisville on a well-placed ball right down the line.
She's had success down the line tonight.
DeBeer with her 5th kill of the evening, tied for 2nd for Louisville this match. All knotted up at 14. And Raven Colvin with the kill for Purdue. They take the slut I'm a yellow Starburst guy myself. Yellow and orange are my two go-tos. What about you? What do you think?
So we play this game where you like taste test them and see if you can tell which ones
flavors,
in which
flavor,
wrapper.
yeah.
And I can tell the yellow. Yellow is my favorite too.
It's definitely the strongest, I think. Yeah, that's a good point. It stands out among the crowd when you got a full pack of Starburst, as those kids do.
I love her teaching them the right way to hold the L's.
You know, it's one of those things. It's a little detail that a lot of people don't quite get.
It's a big detail.
Point for Louisville out of the timeout. And this has been a very back and forth set. Really no team able to get any substantial lead. Louisville was in control of the first, more or less, from start to finish, though Purdue had their runs. But this is feeling like a different set here in the second, as Purdue once again gets the point to take a slight advantage here, 16-15.
I feel like it's no surprise to any volleyball coach that's listening or anyone that's ever played and been coached, but ball control and using your middles. And whichever team can do that down the stretch here is going to win this set.
Colvin to serve for Purdue. Just touched the top of the net. Lothero over, and very clever from the Spaniard. Raquel Lothero tips it over for the Cars to tie it at 16.
We talked about it early in the first set that the coaching staff wanted her to be more aggressive, and she did it early. I think it was part of the game plan. They reminded her, and I'm guessing she just got reminded at that media timeout.
Ellis for Purdue.
She is taking huge swings. If there was a way to only project the volume to the viewers at home, I think that would make even a bigger impact than seeing it. But she is ripping that ball.
Yeah, every time she goes up for a swing, it's a loud sound of hand to ball. Tillman there for Louisville with the swing and the points.
Ball control and a quick ball to the middle. If only it were really that simple, right? If only it just took one sentence.
It's that simple from where you're sitting, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that simple when you're wearing the jersey, I promise.
And Louisville, the point looked like some confusion, perhaps, for Purdue there. And this, a critical moment in this set and a critical moment in the match, given that Louisville took set number one here in the late stages of set number two, and an ace for the Cardinals. And maybe a surprising one to CC Rush as she leapt for joy after seeing the ball fall in. And she gets the plaudits from her teammates as well.
Exactly.
So again, a 3-0 run for Louisville here in a critical point in the match. And Rush, after the ace leading to the timeout, has the serve. Hudson, though, on the other side for Purdue with the kill. And when Purdue needed a point, they went to their freshman star, Eva Hudson, here right out of the timeout.
That's a great fastball out of the back row. And now Hudson's in the front row. We'll see if they're able to go to her and get some kill production.
Hudson now with 11 kills. But Louisville with the point from the service error there. And every precious point critical at this late stage of the second set.
And we've got the Aiko Jones-Eva Hudson battle back to the front row.
Lothero to serve for Louisville, the USC transfer, who's been such a terrific presence for the Cardinals in her first season in red and black. Scott diving for the dig. DeBeer over for Louisville. Jones keeping it alive. Chaussee hammers it down. That's off the balcony for the point. As you get a look at Eva Hudson, how sensational has she been this season, and she continues that form tonight.
Again, it's amazing to have those numbers being the outside hitter workhorse. The load that she is carrying as a freshman, the amount of swings that she is taking per set are amazing.
Again, when you lose 73% of your kills from last season's team, as Purdue did, there is opportunity to be had. And the freshman, Eva Hudson, is grabbing that opportunity with both hands so far this season. Louisville on a run here. 3-0 once again in their favor, and they are 3 points away from clinching set number 2. So once again, Dave Shondell on the bench for the Boilermakers wants a timeout.
The thing that's really picked up from Louisville is their ball control. Maddie Chin had a great swing here, and Lothero was able to get it up, and not just up, but in system, so that Elena Scott had multiple options with DeBeer back row or Jones swinging on the right side. And we talked a lot about Hudson, and that's one thing about her carrying the load on the outside, is that she's going to open things up for people like Chin or like Colvin to get big swings away from where Hudson's drawing the block, but then Louisville's defense steps up and turns that into an in-system ball.
You see the numbers there, that's hitting percentage. Louisville with a slight. Does Purdue have here, needing to make a run of their own? Trailing by 4.
Middle. I would go to the middle.
Hudson is blocked by PK for Louisville. Chaussee, though, rejected by Maddie Chin.
That was a great block by Maddie Chin. She was here, she waited, and she jumped into the seam as Chaussee was swinging. Comes back with her left hand into that hole and snags that ball.
Terrifically read by Maddie Chin for the point. Chaussee tips it over. And Hudson lines up for Purdue. Another great dig for Louisville. And Chaussee with the point for the Cardinals as they continue to take control of this set and maybe the match.
You're exactly right to say another great dig by Louisville. That is what made the difference in that rally.
Chaussee's 8th kill to lead Louisville. Hudson leading the way for both teams with 11 on the night. Bartlett to serve for the Cardinals. Skimmerhorn sets up Hudson. And Hudson does really, really well with terrific placement with that tip.
I like that she takes big swings all the time, but I also like when she had no vision on that ball, which we've seen before. That ball's coming from behind her. I like that she was able to make a smart play and still get the kill.
Purdue, though, needs to continue this run, trailing by 3. And down a set on the night. Jones for Louisville. And now Louisville a point away from taking a commanding 2-set lead. L&N Federal Credit Union Arena rises to its feet at this critical juncture in tonight's affair.
We said Elena Scott needed to pick it up a little bit, and her last serve receives have been absolutely on the money.
Scott now to serve for the Cardinals. They set it up for Hudson. Louisville for Chaussee. Rejected by Colvin. DeBeer over, and DeBeer takes set number 2 for the Louisville Cardinals.
This is a great hustle play. You see Iko Jones and Elena Scott laying on the floor in one after they saved that ball that enabled DeBeer to take a big hard swing to finish the set.
Number 4 versus number 9 in set number 1. As you said just a moment ago, Steph, 2-0 is really misleading in terms of how this match has gone. Purdue has been right there with Louisville almost the entire way.
Yeah, again, especially on swings, they've been very, very equal. It's been the little things. It's been the digs. Does that dig keep them in system? Can they have multiple options while they're swinging? Both teams are working on those things. I'm sure that's what some of the locker room chatter is about right now. How can we have more options and not be so dependent on Eva Hudson on the outside for Purdue? And Louisville's done a good job of moving things around a little bit better than Purdue has. Purdue needs a little bit more production out of their middles.
You see the numbers there, hitting percentage. The main difference on that stat sheet between these two teams, nearly 350 for Louisville to this point. Louisville with 4 aces as compared to 2 for Purdue. Louisville also with the advantage in blocks 4-3. 3 blocking errors for the Boilermakers as compared to none for Louisville. Another area where you can split hairs a little bit to try and find some differences between these two sides.
Yeah, and a lot of that was early in the first set. Purdue wasn't settled at the beginning.
So back underway in set number 3, and Louisville back on the scoreboard right away through Anna DeBeer.
Through Anna DeBeer, but it first came through Elena Scott. Another perfect serve receiver to start off this set. If she carries that through this set, Louisville's ball control is going to be much improved.
And Elena Scott, who just got your praises, Steph, has the serve. Maddie Chin over for Purdue. And the infraction against Louisville here. So a point to Purdue to pull them even at 1 apiece. And a hush falls over the crowd here in the arena.
Chin is hurting a little bit after that play.
And indeed she is.
And one of the first ball handling errors that I've seen from Lothero.
You see there a little bit of a limp from Maddie Chin, a grimace on her face as well. But she will remain in play. In a critical juncture for her team as they try and claw back into this match. She's going to tough it out. Hudson over for Louisville, and Hudson, I beg your pardon, for Purdue, and Hudson the kill for Purdue. The freshman has been on her game tonight, to be sure. Tillman for Louisville with power.
Yeah, Maddie Chin probably would have gotten to that ball to double Tillman out of the middle, but she's still hurting a little bit there on the right side. I think Shondell is really waiting. She goes back row. She gets subbed out in the back row in 1 play. So if they can get out of this rotation, which they just did, then she's going to get a second for him to be able to see how she's doing, how she recovers without having to make the sub now for her that he might need later in the set.
So Maddie Chin able to tough it out for a few points, and you can see the pain evident on both her face and in her manner of walking there.
She subbed out too quickly, and they tried to make her come back up to the line, but they were able to figure out who subbed without making her run all the way back up.
You can understand why she was so eager to get over there. Yeah. She wanted to sit down.
The
she
trainer
needed to
is
sit
her
down.
new best friend right now.
Emily Brown to serve for Purdue. And Brown with the error to give the point to Louisville. Brown now with 5 service errors on the season for the Missouri transfer, playing for her hometown school in Lafayette, Indiana. Louisville another points.
Huge block there. We talked earlier about the volume of some of these swings, how loud that they're coming off the hitter's hands, and that also leads to very fast and loud and strong blocks. Look at that ball going straight down.
Chaussee, the block for Louisville, her first tonight. A high ball nearly scraping the roof of the gym here, sent over by Hudson. Hudson keeps it alive off of the net as well. Here she is once again, and she just eats up Elena Scott. And Eva Hudson with the point for the Boilermakers.
I was going to call her out on taking a free ball on the one before that almost touched the ceiling, but she came back and hammered the second one. So I think she knew that the free ball on the right one wasn't the best choice.
14 kills for Hudson. Lotheroe over for Louisville, but Purdue able to react quickly, and Purdue with the point as well.
After her tip got dug, Lotheroe really wanted that block, and she was a little aggressive into the net.
Well, that was the message from the coaching staff. Be aggressive tonight.
She doubled down.
Lotheroe sets up Tillman and sets her up successfully. Amaya Tillman with the strike for Louisville and the point for Louisville. All even at 5 in set number 3.
That's why the coaches wanted Lotheroe to be aggressive. Her tip didn't score on the play before, but it opens things up for both of the pin hitters, and Tillman had a hole in that block.
25 assists for Lotheroe tonight. Emma Ellis on the other end for Purdue with the kill, just placing the ball past a scrambling Louisville team.
That's one of the worst feelings as a volleyball player, though. De Beer hustled, was able to dig that ball, and it goes over and right back in your face.
And once again, just like set number 2, very little separation. PK the touch over. Chaussee the first time touch over as well. Now the block for Louisville. And Clayton is out with the hit. So Louisville the points.
Both teams got multiple attack attempts from their middles on that rally. I talked to Coach Kathy Jewell before the game, and one thing that she said about Clayton is that she's a graduate transfer. It's her first year in the gym with some of these kids, but that she right away fit in. She's a positive energy, and she just acts like she's been there for 4 and 5 years and seems like a veteran.
Scott Bedig, but Chaussee over and out. And so the point to Purdue. You mentioned Kathy Jewell, the assistant head coach. All 3 of the coaches for Purdue have been here all 20 years of the Dave Shondell era, so they have some interesting titles I thought I would point out. Shondell, of course, the head coach. John Shondell is the associate head coach, and Kathy Jewell is the assistant head coach. And when you've all been together for 20 years, you can certainly understand that delineation of titles. A lot of respect between those 3, you'd have to imagine.
It's absolutely unheard of to keep a staff together for that long nowadays. You also see Maddie Chin back in for Purdue. We'll see how she's holding up.
All even at 7. Ellis, another big swing and a big hit for the point for Purdue. She's approaching the ball with venom tonight, every opportunity she has.
I love that she's able to take this swing out of the middle of the court. We've seen her take most of her swings out off the left pin, so that was a new look.
And after the kill, Ellis rewarded with a breather on the bench. Purdue in front 8-7. De Beer, the point for Louisville.
And whether they did it intentionally or not, Louisville's going after Chin on that block right away.
Anna De Beer now with 8 kills, tied with Claire Chaussee atop the Louisville scoring sheet. Scott serves. They set it up for Chin. Scott keeps it alive. Jones over. Great effort for Louisville. Another great dig from Scott. De Beer. Clayton the hit for Purdue. A good rally going. Hudson. Tillman. And Tillman just puts it down to end that rally and give Louisville a 1-point advantage.
Huge digs from Elena Scott and Raquel Lotheroe in the back row there. You'll notice one thing Louisville's doing a little bit different tonight is when Bartlett's in with Scott, they're actually playing Scott in middle back. So she's covering more of the deeper balls, the balls you have a little bit more time to think and read on that end line, and Bartlett's taking care of defense in 5.
Skimmerhorn, the dig for Purdue. The block from Jones. Jones, the hit off the top of the net. Hudson blocked by Tillman. And DeBeer is rejected by Maddie Chin. And a loud roar of celebration for the player who just went off injured a moment ago. Chin is absolutely playing gutsy tonight.
You saw a couple huge blocks from her in the first couple sets. She does a really good job of waiting and disguising which angle that she's taken on that block and then pressing that ball down into the middle of the court.
And Tillman once again clever with her experience there to score the point for Louisville.
Just like you said, her being clever, I think that's exactly the key here, is she's not going for the straight down kill right now. She knows what's working, and what's working is getting that ball just kind of ping-ponging off the block and falling short in the middle of the court.
3 Cardinals with 8 kills. Tillman now joining DeBeer and Chauncey in that group. Put a point to Purdue. And again, nary a point of separation between these two sides for the second consecutive set. But that's not enough for Purdue, trailing 2-0. Head coach Dave Shondell certainly would love to see his team go on a run to take a little bit of a lead here and take this set more comfortably. As you see the two coaches.
Both coaches looked a little stressed, didn't they?
They did, absolutely. DeBeer the point for Louisville after the deflection.
Shondell's taking a water break and Danny's contemplating.
Contemplating, certainly, yeah. She looks stressed out on the right side of that screen. Shondell pacing around. Can't find a place to be comfortable to watch this one.
His last facial expression said it all.
It was beautiful. It was terrific. Points of Purdue to maybe give Shondell more of a smile. Probably not, though, given the situation he finds his team in right now.
I think you sleep well at night when you know you have an outside hitter like Hudson coming back for the next 4 years, though.
Yeah, what a coup that is to have her.
And look at that dig by Hudson. That's what impresses me the most about her, is that she does not only do it from swinging.
And that's a close call right on the sideline, and Shondell goes immediately to grab the card and challenge this play.
There is Zach McCright, and he was actually a volunteer assistant for the coaching staff for their first year, so 19 years ago. So he got that call right, so I'm sure Shondell had words of praise, right?
Words of praise, yes. Absolutely words of praise. Shondell will be a little happier here with that point. Now, more like, hey man, I thought you liked us, or something to that effect. I gave you your start way back in the day. When are you going to throw me a break here?
He's still talking to him down there. They're having some fun. That's one thing I love about Coach Shondell, though, is he's very competitive. We were showing his facial expressions and his stress a little bit earlier, but he's always in it to have a good time and doing it for the right reasons. Again,
Shondell, his 20th season, well over 400 wins in his career as a head coach. Has led this program to 13 20-win seasons out of his 20 years in charge. That's a point to his Purdue Boilermakers as they try and mount a serious comeback to keep this undefeated season for them alive. 6-0 again, their best start in 4 years, dating back to 2018. Lotherow tips it over. PK the swing for Louisville. And PK maybe short on experience, but big on talent. You can see it there. And she gets the point.
She touches the ball at such a high contact point, and she has such a fast arm swing.
Pekron Kong entering play tonight on the season with just 6 sets out of the 20 that Louisville had played on this to this point. but she got the start tonight and is featured heavily throughout the match. Points of Purdue. Hudson continues to play terrifically.
Eva Hudson loves to hit this ball across her body going to one, and I think that's a ball that Louisville practiced and practiced this week, and they want their defense to stay a little truer and be able to dig that. It's a great swing.
And Louisville a bit out of sorts there on that point, as Purdue now takes a 2-point advantage to take us into this. Well, that man right there is having himself a terrific evening. What I'd pay to have as much fun as he is having any night of the week tonight. Fans on their feet, raising the noise level, raising the energy as well. Louisville in need of a little bit of a run, and they get an error here on the service from Purdue to give them a point to pull back within one. Louisville ahead 2-0, but Purdue, ever the talented team, they've hung tight, and they have the lead here in set number 3, trying to extend this match. After the service error for the Boilermakers, Bartlett to serve for Louisville. And there's a point for Maddie Chin, who has come back from that little injury scare and provided multiple key plays for the Boilers down the stretch here.
She's been really consistent tonight. She's kind of been in the shadows, but when she does something, it's been big and at big times.
And Clayton alert to where that ball was. Saw it coming over the net, leapt up for the hit, and just put it right down on Louisville. And after the media timeout, Danny Busboom-Kelly wants another timeout of her own making this time, as she sees this set ever so slightly slipping out of the fingertips of her team.
So we have kind of a cool story here. You see number 1, CeCe Rush, played at Providence High School, which is right over the river in New Albany. We talked earlier in the broadcast that 10 for Purdue, Allie Hornig, is also from Providence High School. So a tiny high school over in New Albany, Indiana. And the assistant coach from Purdue, Kathy Jewell, is also an alumni of Providence High School and was an assistant coach there in the 90s. And then line judge Zach McCrite, that we just talked about, Shondell having a little bit of fun with, he is also an alumni of Providence High School. So tiny little school across the river in southern Indiana is making quite an impact in a top 10 NCAA volleyball game today.
It absolutely is. An impact on both teams and among the officials. I can't imagine that has happened very often in a game of this magnitude, that you would have the same high school playing a factor in you could say all 3 phases, both teams and the officials.
Providence is definitely a dynasty high school in Indiana volleyball. Head coach Terry Perica has led the program for 20 plus years, and CeCe's a product of there, Allie's a product of there, Kathy Jewell coached, Zach's coached there, and they've got some big volleyball names, obviously.
10 players in total in tonight's match from the state of Indiana, 8 of them for Purdue. To widen the picture just a bit, the Providence well represented tonight just across the river here in Louisville, Kentucky. PK, the block for the Cardinals, out of the timeout. And she continues to make a name for herself tonight.
Purdue goes with the middle out of the timeout here, which I think that they need to do, but it's a solo block, and PK is able to be over and right on the ball.
6 feet 3 inches tall for PK. And she used it to her advantage on that point. Setting up for Hudson is Purdue, and that is in right down the line. Eva Hudson with perfect placement for the points.
And based on Elena Scott's expression on that ball when it landed, you're not going to see a replay or a challenge on that one. That ball hit the line.
So the Boilers in front by 3 now in this set. Jones for Louisville, and that also is in on target for Aiko Jones, the veteran leader for the Cardinals.
Serve receive was just a little shaky there again by Louisville, but Aiko stepped up on an off-system ball and pounded it.
4 players with 8 or more kills for Louisville in this game. Jones among that group with 8 herself, and she has the service after the points. And in between 2 players there, Scott and Bartlett both going down for the ball, and somehow neither was able to make the play for Louisville. And Colvin the point for Purdue.
Raven Colvin contacts that ball so high, and she's smart. She doesn't always use power. She's really good at hitting the middle of the court or the deep corners.
Colvin with 7 kills. She's in 3rd for Purdue in that stat, trailing Hudson with 17 and Ellis with 9. Another point to Purdue as they close in now on winning a set. Still a ways to go, but a 4-point advantage.
We talked in the last rotation that Louisville's serve receive was just a little bit shaky, and you saw it again there.
Touched over, Scott with the dig. And then Tillman, and that's in. What a smart play from Amaya Tillman. Hit them where they ain't. Sometimes it can be that simple.
Everyone was kind of sucked up into the court inside the 10-foot line on both sides, and that was such great court vision by Tillman to see that it needed to get deep.
DeBeer for Louisville into the nets. A service error for Anna DeBeer. And Purdue goes back in front by 4. Sixth service error of the night for Louisville. Lotherow, however, once again, using her experience to her advantage, just quickly tapping the ball over to get the kill.
That was such a heads-up play. That ball was a little bit tight. She probably could have set it, but it wouldn't have been a great set-in system, and she was able to score instead.
Ooh. Colvin the points. A well-struck ball that was blocked by Louisville. As we get a look at the reason for that point here.
Again, Colvin touches that ball so high, so it's off the top of Chaussee's hand, and it's hard to direct the blocks that don't hit your palm.
Alexa Hendricks with the dig for Louisville. Ellis to strike it for Purdue. Another thunderous hit for Emma Ellis, and the Boilermakers are now 2 points away from claiming their first set tonight.
The highlight for that play for Purdue is going to be that Reagan Colvin is a middle, and she's serving right now, and she was the one that got the dig that set up that play. And the middles don't usually get to play back row and get a dig, so that added to the excitement for Purdue on that kill.
Well, we've sung her praises all night, and rightfully so. She's absolutely lived up to the hype. Eva Hudson, the freshman for the Boilermakers from Fort Wayne, Indiana. 17 kills tonight, along with 7 digs.
I think what's been so impressive about her is watching her serve receive, watching her defense, and watching that she, as a freshman, does the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet and does them well. She's someone her team can count on in all the different situations. She's not just transitioning out for the big swing. She's covering when her middles hit. She's blocking. She's helping double block the middle, and she's carrying a huge load in defense and serve receive.
Again, this Purdue team, really their first serious test of the season at 6-0, and therefore, because she's a freshman, the first real test for Eva Hudson. But so far, she's passing, and passing with flying colors as well, hitting .255. You see the numbers, 17 kills and 7 digs as well. They've gone to her time and time again. And as you said, Steph, she's also shown up elsewhere on the court doing the little things for her team.
And not only that, she looks like she's having fun doing it. She's positive. She's being a vocal leader out there. I think her maturity is definitely beyond her years.
Be hard not to have fun in this environment on such a highly anticipated game between two top 10 teams. It's an ace for Purdue. Louisville can't handle it, and now Purdue a point away from pulling one set back in this match. Raven Colvin. But that's out. Service error from Colvin.
I think that's a bad miss just because Louisville's getting a little bit shaky in serve receive. You really want to make them have to pass that ball, but she was going for the ace, so you can't get mad at her for that.
Louisville in need of a run if they want to close it out here. Raquel Lotherow. From the back row, Hudson. From the back row, DeBeer. And DeBeer with the point, a high ricochet into the roof of L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. Such was the power of Anna DeBeer's hit.
I love that setting choice by Lotherow. DeBeer was able to go the fastest as that dig was right at the 10-foot line, and she was able to hammer that ball from the back row.
Lotherow again. And blocked by Louisville for the points. Never say die to the Cardinals in set number 3. Set point for multiple points in a row, and Louisville continues to keep this set going, trying to win this match right here.
I think this is more a proactive timeout for Purdue. We have game point. Let's make sure that we have a plan. Let's make sure we have a plan B if the plan A doesn't work. And I think you might see them go to their middle again out of this serve receive if they can get an in-system ball.
Louisville won set number 1, 25-18. Set number 2 was 25-20 in favor of the Cardinals, but here in set number 3, percentage gap in set number 2.
Again, I think what that shows us in sets 2 and sets 3 is where Louisville has been struggling is not in their hitting production. It's been in ball control. When they have struggled, it's in ball control. That is why they are behind in this third set. It's not because of their hitting production.
For the game, the match rather, Louisville hitting .330 and Purdue hitting .239. Louisville trailing by 3, looking to extend the 3-0 run. Ellis rejected. It's going to be Ellis once again, and she's rejected once again. And Louisville, it's now 4-0. And Purdue starting to feel nervous. The fans in the arena starting to feel the momentum swinging to their team. What a late comeback this would be in this set if they can complete it. Still 2 points more to come for Louisville if they can do it. Purdue remains on set points. Hudson is out. Another point to Louisville.
I think if there's a rotation matchup for a Louisville comeback, they're obviously proving that this is the rotation. Chaussee, Jones, and PK are front row and behind Lotherow's serve. And I think this is a little bit of a challenging rotation for Purdue without Hudson at that left pin for a swing.
Dave Shondell wants another timeout to have a conversation and maybe calm the nerves of his team. Again on the road, facing top 5 opposition, a ranked team across the court from Purdue for the first time this year. And this likely a challenge that they've not faced yet this season. Against a veteran experienced team that is confident, coming off of a loss. Louisville looking to protect their home court, and they have had a furious rally here in set number 3.
That's a great point. I think one thing that you learn from playing big games, playing tough games, is that it's never over until it's over. And when you play some teams that maybe aren't up to your level, then once you get a good lead on it, sometimes you can kind of coast to finish that set. But when you're on a team that never says die, Louisville has confidence that they can come back, and Purdue needs to learn how to close out the set when they have the lead.
Louisville trailed by as many as 6 in this set. The Danny Busboom Kelly's squad, which breaks huddle behind her.
So you'll see that Purdue has pulled Eva Hudson out of serve receive so that she can be a hitting option offensively for them.
Crowd rises to its feet, many of them anyway. Sensing the way this set is going, it's going to be Lothero to serve for Louisville. And Lothero, it's still alive though. Hudson trying to get it over, she can't do it. And Louisville's run inexplicably continues here in set number 3. And they see off set point for Purdue to tie it up at 24. What resilience from the Cardinals.
It's the second time coming out of a timeout that Louisville has called a short serve as kind of a trick play.
Just when Purdue thought they had pulled something back for themselves in this match, Louisville said, not so fast.
And I love the energy and the confidence of the Louisville squad.
Again, a 6-0 run to the Cardinals. Jones the dig. Lothero sets it up for PK, and PK under the ball with the hitting error.
The energy in the gym is usually a good thing until you don't quite contact that ball right and the adrenaline is not on your side.
Megan Renner to serve for Purdue. Ellis, the swing, and Ellis is out. Back even at 25.
Ellis took just a little bit off of that swing, and it ended up going out of bounds. She didn't take enough off of it for it to be off speed, but I would have liked to seen her go for that swing like she was doing in sets 1 and 2.
Ellis with 10 kills, that though her 4th error of the evening. Bartlett to serve for Louisville. Ellis on the setup once again. Bartlett keeps it alive. DeBeer over for the Cards. And that hit from Hannah Clayton is out, and Louisville, somehow, some way, trailing by 6 in this set, has found their way back to a match point situation.
Purdue has been just a little bit hesitant. They've been in system. They've had some great opportunities. They just haven't been able to put the ball away. And Louisville has stayed cool, calm, and collected and executed down the stretch.
Purdue making a substitution here as the crowd had just built to a crescendo. By Jones. Aiko Jones once again. And Louisville gets the point. After a pause from the officials, every player for Louisville was claiming that that was a point, and as you might imagine, Dave Shondell immediately off of his bench with the challenge. And it's a so very necessary one right now for Purdue to keep their match going.
So I think we actually have a really interesting situation here. He called a net violation, but he called it on Purdue. But on the slide there, you're able to hit the net if you're outside the antenna. And I think what happened is the attacker actually hit the net, made the net shake, but they were outside the antenna, so that's not a net violation. And in the meantime, he maybe did or maybe didn't see Purdue in the net. You see here after this, Aiko actually continues and runs into the net.
What do you think?
That is such a tough. I think this is probably a better angle. I'm going to go with no net violation there. But I think what he saw is when she continues, she hit the pole and then the whole net shook. Because Aiko's on her way out. You see there as she lands, she hits that net and
runs into it, yeah. Well, the stakes are fairly simple to explain at this juncture tonight. If it goes Purdue's way, we continue playing. If the challenge goes Louisville's way, it is a win for the Cardinals. And the officials, as you might expect, given the gravity of this situation, having a long look at the monitor just to be absolutely certain. Purdue looking at perhaps their first loss of this season. And Louisville looking to rebound from their first loss last week to Ohio State.
I think this one's going to be overturned. I think we get more volleyball, but please remember my success rate is not super high.
The pacing from Shondell continues.
The suspense in the gym
it's really
at an all-time high right now.
You can cut the tension with a knife right now in L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. Just about every fan on their feet awaiting this call.
What more do we want in a big game, though? Give us some extra points.
It's a top 10 showdown, number 4 against number 9. And will it be a win for Louisville? Or will it be more volleyball for this crowd? Now the restlessness starting to come from some of the fans as well. But again, you can absolutely understand why they're taking so long to consider this. Again, literally, the match is on the line here.
So actually, one dynamic here too is they challenge being in the net, but he also can look at it and make sure that there's not a touch. So he's looking at everything right here because it's game point.
Nervous looks from both coaches. Maybe a smile of acceptance on the side of Dave Shondell for a moment. They wait just like the rest of us for this call.
The suspense is real.
And here it comes. It's a point to Louisville. The Cardinals come from behind in the third set to take it 3-0 over the Boilermakers and claim a top 10 win. And Dave Shondell and his coaching staff entirely up in arms. You can understand it given the way this finished.
So I think what actually ended up happening there is they did say there was no net violation, but then they ended up calling a touch, which is a very interesting ending to the game, and I can understand the frustration of the Purdue coaching staff.
What a night of volleyball this turned out to be. A top 10 matchup.